So after we had gone to Victoria Falls on the Zambian side, Oksana and I wanted to see it from the Zimbabwe side.
We went to Zimbabwe for just one day.
And we decided to walk into Vic Falls, the town, and connect with a company that we had emailed online called Adventure Zone.
These guys offer all different types of activities on the Zimbabwe side.
Because the falls this time of year are so full of spray, you really can't get a good view of them. So I really wanted to get an aerial view by taking maybe a helicopter flight or an ultralight flight, but it was just outside of our budget. And I didn't want to leave the area with regrets on not doing something that you can only do here, like bungee jumping off the Victoria Falls Bridge or going on whitewater rafting down the Zambezi River. But again, we couldn't afford those things, so what we could afford was an elephant-back safari.
I've heard in the past that elephants in Thailand, for example, are not treated very well, and tourists are really discouraged from doing this type of tours. So I was beyond hesitant to do that because my primary concern was, are the elephants treated well? Are they given enough rest? Are they being abused in order to obey the commands?
After about a 20-minute ride in a minivan, we arrived at the little camp. And there were 3 guides waiting for us atop the elephants.
Starting to the right, this is Lundi. She's 27.
Our guide gave us a full info on how the elephants are treated, where they are located, and how the handlers train them. Once that was done, we got onto our elephants.
Right away, you could see that the elephants were treated really well. There were a couple bottles on the ground, and one of the elephants immediately went to pick them up and hand them to the trainer. And you could tell that they were using a reward-based system because as soon as he handed off the bottles, he was asking for a reward. Our elephant would rather have us mount after doing a kneel down. So we walked over to a different corral where the elephant kneeled down for us, and then we climbed aboard and we started our safari through the bush there. Our guide Handsome walked along beside us, and of course he had the gun in case we came across something, because this is Zimbabwe and they have seen lions and leopards at times.
My name is Benny and your elephant is Lundi.
Lundi. Oh, very nice to meet both of you.
So guys, we now moving out the bush. Welcome to tour.
Okay.
Asking questions, just for free and enjoy. Now in my hands, I'll take care of you.
You don't get to ride the elephant on your own. You're actually with the guide. He is the one who navigates the elephant and gives the elephant commands.
The safari itself wasn't spectacular. We only saw a few animals out at a distance, but the fact that we were riding on elephants made it completely worthwhile. The 3 elephants responded incredibly well to verbal commands from the guides, and as we took our tour through the bush, they gave us all sorts of information about the elephants, their behaviors, how they train them.
And it was really fitting to hear the guide say that the elephant is the 4x4 vehicle of the African bush.
No rambling engine. Only with balloon tires. It can go anywhere.
Fully eco-friendly.
Exactly.
When they started this program, they used to feed them with bananas and apples and whatnot, but the elephants weren't too crazy about those and it was a little bit expensive, so they ended up switching to these custom-made food pellets.
Well, apparently for an elephant, little pellets of oats and seeds and molasses and honey are like chocolate. We were giving elephants these little pebbles that were equivalent to a chocolate bar.
About halfway through, we stopped for photos. We handed our cameras down to our guide, and he pointed them back up and took photos at us. And of course, that was the point where we fed them, gave them a little bit of a reward so that they would pose for us. Our guide Handsome explained to us that when they started this program decades ago, they brought over Indian trainers because they had the most experience training elephants. And they were completely unsuccessful. The Indian elephants are trained using a punishment system, and the African elephants are too big and powerful and too independent to really care about that kind of stuff. So after a few beatings, they would just leave.
it was very educational to find out that the handlers don't have to give elephants physical commands. For the majority, the commands are all verbal.
And what about you guys saluting the guests? Salute the guests. Salute. Salute.
I think these elephants knew roughly about 40 commands.
Our guide also told us that if at any time these elephants want to leave, they're completely free to do so. They are kept in a corral at night with a few sticks and brambles making a fence, but the elephants can easily break out and go wandering across Zimbabwe if they want, and some do. When we returned to the camp, we were able to interact with the elephants on a slightly more personal level.
We got to touch them and feed them. We also got to take pictures right next to the elephants.
I have to say it was an amazing experience. Their trunks are incredibly agile, but the trunk itself is very rough and the hairs that come up are super wiry. Contrast that with a few minutes later where we were able to reach in and feel the elephant's tongue, which was smooth and slippery. It's just an amazing contradiction there.
It is such an interesting experience because the elephant has, or African elephant has, almost like 2 fingers in its trunk, and it's not only sucking in the pellets, it's also trying to grab one.
You know, I've always heard that the African elephants are too big and too dangerous to train, but this is obviously not the case.
Well, needless to say, all my concerns were proven wrong. I was very hesitant to go on the safari, but now having done it, I have no regrets, and I would really recommend this experience to anyone out there who is looking to do something different in Africa. In the past, I've heard that, for example, anaphiles, nice.